Hey guys, here it is. The Bassmaster Elite Series has come to a close, and it's been a good season for me. But right now I want to give you a little bit of a year in review, kind of break down the baits and some of the techniques that I used at each and every tournament this year. It's been a very diverse year, but surprisingly I kept it pretty simple and only used a handful of baits. We're going to walk through those right now. Our first tournament of the year was a Bassmasters Classic. It was on Lake Hartwell, and it was freezing cold. My main player over there was a crankbait. I used this one quite a bit. It was a Strike King 3XD, Sexy Shad. I was cranking little chunk rock banks, riprap bridges, things like that with this bait. Also in that tournament, as it continued to get colder and colder, I picked up a Strike King Series 300 jerkbait. Strobe Shad was the color. I fished this on steeper banks, channel swings, and things like that. Had a pretty good finish at this year's Classic. Once we got into the regular season, our first tournament, always a challenge, Sabine River. Over there, you're looking just to catch 5 fish. So for me, it was about covering water, flipping cypress trees. It was a Strike King rodent. Okeechobee crawl was the color, and this is really my go-to color most everywhere that I fish a rodent. Had a pretty good finish at the Sabine on the rodent. After that, we took a major change and we went to Guntersville. You know, from a real tough fishery to an absolute slugfest. I couldn't wait to get there. And when I got there, I found fish in all stages of the spawn. So for me, that's a great time to throw this bait right here. It's a Strike King Pure Poison Green Pumpkin with a green pumpkin caffeine shad behind it. I colored the blade black, and actually this is the exact bait that I used right there. It's been through it because I caught a bunch of fish. When I wasn't fishing this, when I was fishing rocks, I picked up this bait right here. This is Old Faithful for me. It's a Tennessee Shad 6XD. I fished this on a couple river ledges leading into spawning pockets, and I fished it on some riprap where the shad were spawning early in the mornings, and I had a great finish there at Guntersville. After Guntersville, we went to the West Coast. It was the first time I'd ever been out there, and I tell you what, I had a blast. The Sacramento River is an awesome fishery, and I saw tons of big ones. What I keyed on over there was some post-spawn fish. Once again, I picked up the Pure Poison, the same one I threw at Guntersville, and I fished riprap banks on high tide. Once it got low tide, I went sight fishing, and for my sight fish, there she was again, the rodent, same color, you know. Really kept it simple there. Had another top 10 finish. After the Sacramento, we headed to Lake Havasu. My first time at Havasu was a challenge, and I really had a tough event over there, but I had a great practice. And what I was throwing was a 5XD. I was cranking long, windy main lake points, and I was catching smallmouth. And this was the color, and this was the bait I threw. It's a 5XD, cranked it on 15-pound line. I was burning it. They would smoke it in practice, things changed, and I didn't make the right adjustments, and that was my toughest tournament of the year at Lake Havasu. But after Havasu, things picked up in a major way for me. Went to the St. Lawrence River, which is my favorite fishery. I love it. You can do anything you want to do there. This year we found the fishing to be a little bit tough, and the fishing was, or I should say the fish were not stacked up in any one area. So what I chose to do over there was cover lots of water, fish shallow humps, fish for the aggressive fish, and move on to the next one. My bait of choice over there, once again, was the Strobe Shad 300 series jerkbait from Strike King, and that was another good finish for me. It was a top 10 finish, and I had a great time catching them giant smallmouth at the St. Lawrence River. Kept it simple there. When I wasn't throwing this, when I had the fish slower, I picked up my favorite color of tubes, a 3.5-inch Strike King tube with a 3/16-ounce head, just this green pumpkin with gold fleck. It gets it done for me anytime we're around smallmouth. So that gets us through you know, most of the season. After that, we headed to the Chesapeake Bay, which was a very, very difficult tournament. I didn't get a check over there, finished middle of the field, got a lot of points out of the event, but it was a grind. And over there I just was fishing for 3 to 4 bites a day. And when that happens, and I know it's tough, this is my limit getter, especially when we're fishing a fishery where we can have 12-inch fish. This little bait right here gets it done. It's a chartreuse and blackback, little Strike King 1.0, and just burning it around wood, any kind of wood I could find, chunk rock bank. And I flipped docks over there also. Fell back on this sucker again. It's the rodent, Okeechobee crawl. Caught some of my key fish, including a 4-pounder on the second day on the rodent. That was the basis of the Chesapeake. After there, we went to another slugfest. It was Lake St Clair, and you know, I had a good time catching some good smallmouth over there. Didn't quite get it done at St Clair, but still had a good finish. the tube was the deal. Just getting out on flats in St Clair that had you know, patchy cabbage grass and some rock mixed in. Same tube, same color, same setup that I used earlier in the year. This is, like I said, this is my go-to when I'm on smallmouth fisheries. And this week, this past week at Sturgeon Bay was a good one for me. Fishing was tough, but I kept it simple over there. Really, what I caught my fish on, I fell back on the jerkbait, covered water. This is my go-to when I don't know what else to do. Just get up on the bank, fish it fast, fish it aggressively. It's a flashy color. I love that strobe shad, and the smallmouth they'll show themselves. If they show themselves and I can't catch them on this, I'll pick up that tube, throw it in there, and just let it sit. They can't resist that. So that's it. That's my year in review of the Elite Series. A great season. I'm looking forward to next year, but this just goes to prove, you know, you can keep it simple. We fished very diverse fisheries across the country, and largemouth, smallmouth, tough lakes, slugfest. I kept it simple. I put these baits right here in my hand, and they get the job done for me. So that just kind of goes to prove that you don't have to fish everything in your tackle box to do good in tournaments.